Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, she got the giggles. Okay, you ready, Lauren?
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. So in today's video, I've got a special guest. This is Lauren from Driving Test Success. And basically, Lauren has got loads of questions from learner drivers about the practical driving test. So she's put together the most asked questions about the practical driving test, and we are going to answer them all in this video. So before we get started with the questions, Lauren, could you tell us a bit about Driving Test Success and what you guys are all about?
Okay, so we provide theory test revision and we believe that it's the best out there. So we offer a pass guarantee scheme which makes sure you pass or you get your test feedback.
Okay, and another thing I think you forgot to mention, well, it's the UK's #1 downloaded app.
Oh yeah.
How did that slip your mind? Okay, right. So yeah, guys, with Driving Test Success, like I've mentioned in the previous videos as well, since I became a driving instructor, I've always recommended their material to all my learners, and now I'm kind of fortunate enough that we're working together, where we just promote each other's brand, really. Because
dream team.
We believe it's like I said, we believe whatever we put on the channel, it's going to provide you guys with a lot of value, and I feel like it is definitely the best stuff out there. Okay, Lauren, are we ready for all these questions then? Yeah. So you know these questions, where did you get them from? How did learners contact you, and where did you gather the questions from?
Okay, so we get lots of questions across our Facebook, our Twitter, our TikTok, especially in the Learner Hub, which we love. So we're going to get you to answer them all.
Cool. The Learner Hub, what's that about?
That is our Facebook group, and it's full of over 17,000 learner drivers and instructors. So if you ever need any help, you've got any questions that it's either out of office hours or something that we can't answer, pop it in the group and you will get an answer from somebody straight away.
Brilliant. We've got the link in the description below, guys. Okay, so let's get started with these questions then.
Okay, you ready?
Yep, ready.
So, how do I prepare for my first driving lesson?
How do you prepare for your driving lesson? So
yes,
first thing, obviously make sure you have your provisional before you go on your first driving lesson. And preparation wise, obviously you need to get as much knowledge as you can, because your first driving lesson, if you've never driven before, the first driving lesson, what a lot of instructors do is obviously they have to go through all the basic controls, the cockpit drill, how to sort your seat out, what all the pedals are about, then talk about how to move and stop a car. So if you've already got good knowledge about that stuff before you go on your lesson, it's going to save a lot of time, because I know I'm that kind of instructor. I just like to get people moving, and actually driving even on the first lesson, because that's what I'd say most learners are looking forward to. But some instructors out there, they like to go through every single little thing and talk about it, which can take up most of the lesson, and you don't want to be just sitting there for 45 minutes of a 1 hour lesson if you've only booked the hour. So watch as many videos as you can. And obviously what I do is I use the Ultimate Driving course, and if you watch the first few videos, I get all my clients, all my learners to watch the first few videos. So within 15-20 minutes we're actually moving. It just saves a lot of time. So I still like ask them questions on it, but because they've already watched the videos and revised them, just saves a lot of time. And you will surprise your instructor. Just tell your instructor, look, I kind of know my stuff about the cockpit roll and the controls. So again, you can prove that too by answering the instructor's questions. You can say to the instructor, you can check my knowledge, quick fire questions, give them the answers, and you can move on to moving and stopping the car. Okay, so that's the best way to prepare for your first driving lesson.
Okay. Should I learn in an automatic or a manual car?
That is totally down to the learner. So the difference, obviously, in a manual, you have the gear stick and you have to change the gears, and you have the clutch pedal. Whereas in a manual, whereas in an automatic, you'll only have the gas pedal and the brake pedal. And once you put it into drive, you want to have it'll automatically change your gears. But the thing is, if you pass in an automatic, you can only drive in an automatic after passing your driving test.
Right.
If you pass in a manual, you can drive both automatic and manual. Obviously, automatic is a lot easier, but if you don't have any problems with changing gears, I recommend manual, because you could find yourself in a situation after passing your driving test where you need to drive in a manual as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's it.
Okay. So how many driving lessons do I need?
Oh, that's a question that don't normally get asked on the first lesson by a lot of people. Okay, so again, with this, totally depends on each individual. The main thing you guys have got to think of, when you take a driving lesson, have you guys obviously learned something in that lesson and progressed? Yeah, and did you pick up the stuff quite quickly and found it easy? Like some learners will, I'll tell them something and it's done within like 10 minutes. They get the hang of it. But others, you might take this, doing the same thing, might take them a full lesson or even 2 or 3 lessons. So it totally depends on each individual. But so I'll tell you, the quickest pass I've had when I've had a learner from scratch, and he was really good, it was 14 hours. He had 14 hours of driving lessons and passed his driving test. And the longest I've had, I think it was 72 hours. This one lady, she actually found it really hard, and that did require a lot of lessons, and we got there in the end though. But like I said, see, the difference is 14 hours and there's 72 hours. But on average, I think a lot of my learners, anything between 25 to 35 hours, you should expect to have that many lessons at least. Okay, to get to a good level and to cover everything. So this mask keeps going up to my eye.
Okay. So how many lessons should I have before going for my test?
How many lessons should you have? Again,
that's kind of the same question.
So it just totally depends on like how many lessons it takes you to get ready. See, a lot of people think, don't just take your instructor's word for it. Like sometimes I'll watch someone's driving and I think, oh, that's really good, but then when I ask the learner how they felt, they say, oh, I felt really nervous. Like going on a big roundabout and then or something. But whereas when we're looking at it, it seemed good to us. So it totally depends on how you guys feel. If you feel, yes, you're ready and confident, to be able to drive. So after you pass, remember, you're going to be on the road yourself. So you feel, after I pass, I can drive without any help. Or you're confident on every topic, then that's your answer. But there's no set amount. It's totally when you actually feel ready. Okay.
Should I take driving lessons before sitting my theory test?
I think it helps. You don't have to, but I think it definitely helps. So if you're revising your theory, I've had learners who are revising the theory, and when we're driving, they see the signs and that as well, and then we can give you a bit of help as well. So when you're revising your theory, if you're stuck with something, you can. If you're taking practical lessons, you can ask your instructor. They can help you out. But it's not essential. There's no rule that you've got to have lessons before doing your theory. But I do advise it.
Okay. Should I get my own car to practice in whilst learning?
I would definitely recommend it. If you can afford to get your own car and you're insured on it, obviously you've got to be insured on it, and you've got someone who can take you out on it, like a family member, and that person who's going to be taking you out on the lessons has to have had their license for at least 3 years and be over 21 years old. So the more practice, I always say to my learners, if you can get practice away from your driving lessons, brilliant. Well, we've got somebody else in the car. Right, let's try and get that out. There we go. Okay, so does that answer that question?
I think so.
Cool. So definitely, if any hours you can get away from your actual driving lessons, it's definitely going to help you.
Okay. Can I take a passenger in the car with me when I'm going on a driving lesson?
On a driving lesson? Obviously, because of what's going on now, because of COVID, no. But pre-COVID, yes, you can. I used to have learners. I used to actually encourage it. Because once you pass your driving test, you're going to have your friends or family in the car with you. So when the learner is at a stage where they're driving comfortably, I used to even say, if you want to bring anyone to sit in the back, because they're going to be a bit of a distraction. So it's good for learning as well. So you can take people on a driving lesson. You did used to get some mothers who wanted to bring the young babies on. To be honest, I wasn't too comfortable with that, because obviously, if anything was to happen on a driving lesson, anything dangerous with a little kid in the back, it can, obviously, I don't want to be responsible for that, and young kids can be distracting.
Yeah.
So but a family member, friend who's going to sit in the back, I think that's good for learning.
Okay. Can I beat my driving test before I've actually passed the theory test?
No. So that's the way you have to pass your theory and get your theory certificate number to book book a practical driving test. So you cannot book a practical driving test unless you've passed your theory.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Can I book my practical test without my instructor say so?
Yes, you can. Yeah, but I wouldn't advise it. Yeah, I've had learners in the past just surprise me saying, "Oh, I've got a test for 2 weeks," and I'm like, "I'm not available then."
Yeah.
So unless they find a different instructor, so you've got to make sure firstly you've agreed with your instructor. Yeah. What I normally do is, like when I feel someone's getting ready for a driving test, yeah, even before this situation, it's like you couldn't get driving tests where I do the driving test, like pretty quickly. So it was about 6 or 7 weeks. If I see the learner progressing and they're taking the lessons regularly, we'd book it in advance. But like we'd agree that as long as you're going to stick to your lessons, and in 6-7 weeks time, let's get your test booked. But you don't want to book it. I wouldn't recommend you guys booking it without notifying your instructor, because if it's not available, or even if the instructor feels you're not ready, if I feel someone's not ready, I wouldn't take them on a driving test. So yeah, you can do it, but I wouldn't advise it. Okay.
Okay. So can I take my test in my own car?
Yes, you can take your test in your own car, family member's car, as long as you're insured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've got to make sure you've taken out special insurance for that day. Yeah, and obviously the car is roadworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the two main factors.
Okay.
And if you're going to take your car in your test in your own car or a family member's car, just make sure you have an additional interior mirror for the examiner. Yeah?
Okay.
If you haven't got one, they do normally go back to the office and get it. But if you bought your own, you just a good impression that you're prepared for it.
Okay. Yeah. Can I take a family member on the practical test with me?
Again, obviously during this time, no, because of COVID, they only want 2 people in the car. But normally, yeah, you're allowed to take, like, people can take the instructor or another person. You can have anyone to accompany you on the driving test. Yeah, so you can take a family member, no issues.
Okay.
I actually had one person, remember, they were husband and wife, and instead of me, the husband asked if he could go on his wife's test because he had his test the following week, so he could see what it's like. That was absolutely fine.
Oh, but it'd be quite nerve-wracking if your husband was in the back watching you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So, on the driving test, what's the difference between the driver faults?
Okay, driver faults. So you have a normal driving fault, which a lot of people call a minor driving fault. I don't like mentioning, I try and avoid using the word minor where I can, because like you guys watching, when you say to them it's minor, you just think, oh, it's minor, it's nothing. It's still a driving fault. Yeah. Okay. So a driving fault is something that you do that hasn't caused anyone any danger. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it's a fault, but it's nothing serious. Yeah. So say for example, you've stalled the car. Yeah. And you've reacted well, restarted it, kept control, moved off, no big issue.
Yeah.
But then if you make a serious fault, only one serious fault, that would fail you. So let's stick to stalling. So that scenario when I mentioned stalling, that was just a normal driving fault. But say if you stalled and you didn't react well, your car started to roll back, and then the examiner had to press the brake, then that same fault would be a serious fault, which would result in a fail. So serious faults, you're allowed 0. Mm-hmm. Your one serious fault, you fail. And the normal driving faults, you're allowed 15. If you get 16, it results in a fail. And with the normal driving faults, if you keep doing the same one again and again, the examiners can turn that into a serious fault as well. And again, with that, like some people think, if you do the three normal faults again and again, it'll turn into a serious. Now, I've had people do the same fault like 4 or 5 times, but still not turn into a serious fault, because it didn't really cause any danger. Yeah, where sometimes people like have forgotten to check a blind spot and there was someone coming out of there, and that's turned into a serious fault. So
Right.
yeah, that's the difference
Okay.
between the faults. And anybody who wants to like obviously look more into that, yeah, and get more knowledge on them, just watch the mock tests I put up. Yeah, because I talk through all the faults on that anyway. Yeah. Okay.
Plug. Next. So, how do I know when I'm on my driving test if I've failed the test?
Okay, the biggest clue that you know that you have definitely failed is if the examiner grabs the steering or uses the controls for you, like presses the pedals on that side, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, or basically if the examiner has to intervene, you've definitely failed, yeah. But again, a bit of advice I'd give you guys is sometimes you'll be driving. I've had learners on test who were driving, they thought they'd made a serious mistake, yeah, because in there they thought they did something wrong, but it wasn't actually a serious fault at all. Yeah, it was just a normal driving fault, and then they've just given up and end up making actually making a serious fault.
Yeah.
So as long as the examiner hasn't intervened, yeah, you've got hope. So don't think at any point that you failed. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just continue driving. Yeah, because you'll be surprised with like some of the stuff that you think, oh, I messed up there, but it wasn't actually a fault. So just keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, if the examiner has gone for the pedals and come in, then yeah, sorry, you've messed up.
Sorry. Bye. Okay, so how is that, obviously in current COVID times, is that still the same in terms of if you've failed the test, does the test still carry on till the end, or?
I know they've changed it now, but obviously because they want to minimise the time in the car, yeah, okay, for obviously safety. So whereas before, if you're on your test, yeah, you could make a fault right at the start within the first 5 minutes, but the examiners would carry on with the test, yeah, because you've paid the fee for the test.
Yeah.
So they continue with the whole test, and when you get back to the test centre, then they'll let you know that yeah, you made this fault right at the start.
Yeah.
But whereas now, if you do make a fault 5, 10, 15 minutes into the test, yeah, they won't tell you there and then that, oh, you've made the fault. What they will do is they'll start redirecting you back to the test centre early.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then when you park up at the test centre, then they'll notify you that you failed.
Okay.
Okay.
So if that's in within the first 10 minutes, it's a strong indicator that...
Yeah. So if you're back at the
up.
test centre within 15 minutes, it's not going to be good news.
Oh, man.
I know.
Okay. What's the next one? If I fail my practical test, can I book another one straight away?
You normally have to wait about a day for them to log it into the system and that, yeah. But then when you do go online to book it again, you can book the date, yeah, but you won't be able to book a date, yeah, that's within 10 working days. So you have to wait 10 working days, yeah. So say if you failed your test today, tomorrow afternoon you could go into the system and look for a test date. But say if there's a test date for next week, following week, it won't allow you to book that. It's got to be 10 working days away.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Cool.
So my driving instructor won't allow me on the motorway. What should I do?
Is that because your driving's dodgy, or?
I mean, it could be.
Okay, so instructors, again, me personally, when I feel someone's ready, and if they want to go on the motorway, brilliant, I'll take them on. Yeah, obviously if they're not ready, I'll just tell them, look, you're not fully ready. Like if you're on a dual carriageway that's 40 or 50 miles an hour, and you're really nervous and you're not controlling the car well,
Yeah.
you're not ready to go on the motorway, are you?
No.
Yeah. So when someone's doing dual carriageways and driving at high speeds quite confidently, yeah, and their lane changing is good, then that means you're ready to go onto the motorway. Yeah. So I've got no issue with taking anyone on the motorway as long as they're ready. So maybe because you're not fully ready, maybe that's what the instructor feels. Or some instructors, I think, they might not be that comfortable taking the learners on the motorway because they think it might be a high risk situation. But me personally, I love to do it because I think the learners, like, again, I'd rather they go on the motorway with me and learn about it rather than just pass and then go on the motorway themselves and be in danger. So
Okay.
it could be the fact that they're not ready, or the instructor just doesn't feel comfortable going on the motorway. So
So
yeah,
what?
but the thing, so the thing you could do, just ask your instructor why. Simple. Say, why can't I go on the motorway? And see if he or she gives you a valid reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they won't take me on the motorway, can I go on with my family or friends?
Nope.
No.
No. Your learners are only allowed to go on the motorway with a fully qualified driving instructor, with dual controls fitted in the car.
Right.
Yeah. You can't just go on the motorway with a family member or a friend.
So even if you're practicing in your own car, you still can't go on unless it's dual controlled.
Yeah.
With an
Obviously,
instructor.
yeah. Unless you're fully qualified, then you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before that, it's got to be with an instructor in a dual control vehicle.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Got an extra kind of mask. So, do I need to do a Pass Plus course?
Do you need to do one? No, you don't. Like, you don't have to do one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you want to do one, then yes, yeah. So with the Pass Plus, yeah, like before, I know it used to help with insurance. Yeah, your insurance used to come down.
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot of companies that do take that into account, but there's a lot of companies that don't. Yeah. So
Right.
if you're doing it to save money on insurance, just it's best to contact the insurance provider first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because doing a Pass Plus, you have to have 6 hours. Yeah. It does cost around anything between 150 to £200. Yeah. And if you're doing it just to reduce money on the insurance, if your insurance is only going to drop by £100, but you're paying £200
Yeah.
for the Pass Plus, it's not really worth it, is it?
No.
But in my experience, the people that normally do it are the ones that want to get more confident driving on the motorway, country lanes if they haven't done it. So yeah, if you want to do it to build up your confidence and go on the motorway, I definitely recommend it. But yeah, it's not like you have to do it. There's no rule that you have to do it.
Okay.
Because once you're qualified, actually you don't have to take any lessons. You can go on the motorway yourself if you want.
The world's your oyster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're good enough.
You're good enough.
Yeah, it's like I say that because look, when somebody passes their driving test, like there's some I did a mock test with somebody recently. She goes, where she lives, the roads are dead quiet. There's no city like driving there, no big roundabouts. And when she came here to where I do the mock test, she found it like quite difficult. And so if she passes in a local town, nice quiet roads, and then she really hasn't got the ability, even she was saying, I don't think got the ability to go onto like city centres, motorways and that. And whereas his instructor saying to her that you're ready for your test, because where she lives it's dead quiet. So that's what I mean. It's like it's
That's
quite
scary.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So finally, I keep failing my practical test. What should I do?
You keep failing.
Yeah.
Again, that's the difficult. You got to like, again, this is down to yourself. Yeah, to just think about what your weak areas are. Are there any weak areas in your driving? The learners have to like think about, have they covered all the topics? Yeah. What they're failing on. Are they failing on the same thing again and again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or is it a different thing each time? If it's a different thing each time, it could be just down to the nerves. Again, for that, I think you'd have to have a conversation with the learner to like know exactly what they've been failing on, and because there could be different reasons. But the main thing is like anyone going for the test, yeah, always say just more than your instructor, you guys should know yourself that I feel quite confident on this or don't feel good about this at all.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't tell their instructor. Good instructor should be asking anyway, how do you feel about this? Tell me your weak areas, what you don't feel confident about. Yeah. But if the instructor's not asking, just tell your instructor you're paying for your driving lessons, your test is coming up. If you don't feel confident about something, say to your instructor, I want to do more of this and more of this. Yeah, and build up your confidence. The only way to get better on something is just practice.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, with that, just like I said, if you keep failing, you've got to know what it's for. It's the same thing with your different stuff. And nerves, a lot of people put it down to nerves, but sometimes just like you're not at the right standard.
Right.
Okay.
So with that, how do I know if my instructor is a good instructor and that they're teaching me the right way?
Again, you can watch more videos. Right, so like what I've done is I'm going to do this again now, where I'm going to take a learner from scratch, film every lesson, and just have a look at the lesson format. It's got to be, your lesson should be similar to that, where every lesson should start with a recap of what you know, what we did in the previous lesson, agree what you're going to do today, and why you're doing it. Is it something that you really need to do? It shouldn't be the instructor getting in the car and saying, oh, we're doing this today, where you were thinking about doing something else. And so you got to agree your lesson goal, and then actually work on that and agree what kind of level of help you're going to need, because some instructors might be helping too much. So let's wait for that camera to stop beeping. Cool. Right, so some instructors might be helping too much, and some instructors might not be helping enough, so they don't agree the correct level of help. Like I get some learners who come to me like, my instructor just used to keep telling me what to do when I didn't need that help. And some were like, he wasn't telling me enough. So agree, the instructor should agree the correct level of help, and then obviously you go out and practice that, and as you're getting better, the instructor should give you less help, again agree with you, and if there's something going wrong, you got to find a way to sort it out, both of you. Is your instructor giving you good feedback, asking you questions about how you're feeling as well? It shouldn't be just the instructor, it should be about you as well. Let's say you know your lessons are good or not. Are you progressing? Is your instructor keeping a log of your lessons and giving you a progress record as well, so you know where you're at? So you just got to have a good, you should know if your instructor is giving you a good structure of if your lesson is well structured or not. Okay, so those are some of the things you should be looking for. That's how you know this is a good lesson or not.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Answers that.
Cool.
I think that answers everything.
So those are pretty good questions.
Thank you.
So you definitely done your work and come up with those questions that have been. I can totally agree that those are definitely the most frequently asked questions. So guys. So hopefully that helps you guys. And any other questions you can ask on the Learner Hub. And Lauren,
you're going to say ask me then. Ask her, not me.
And Lauren normally answers them all, but if she can't, she'll normally ask me, then she'll put the answer up there. So like always guys, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
And me.